So here with Thankyou Water, fantastic bunch of young Australian guys doing really great things both here and abroad. Dan, it's been a really busy year since we last caught up with you in Series 6. Tell us what's happened.
Well, a few changes. So we went from being Thankyou Water to now Thankyou Group. And part of the change was expanding the range from just water to food and also body care. So now we're not just tackling the world water crisis, but we're empowering Australians to fund food programs overseas and health and hygiene through these great products that we've spent probably a good year and a half developing.
So Jared, what do those growth numbers look like?
So over the last 3 years, each year we've grown on average by about 250%, which is incredible. And then this year, with Coles and Woolies coming on board, we're looking at well over 300% again.
That's fantastic.
So, in terms of money that we've been able to give overseas, we've raised 720 grand so far. Of that, 460,000 was given last year. So you can see that the growth has been quite
terrific.
significant, which results in about 56,000 people getting water for the rest of their life.
Okay, and what about in terms of product numbers? How much of your water are you moving?
On average about 5 million units per year.
Okay.
And then moving forward, it's going to be significantly more so.
So going into these retailers, did you have to prove your capacity to supply them?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we're pretty passionate young people, but we really needed to talk the talk. So we worked with all the top suppliers in the country, currently supplying all the major brands in the market, already dealing with Coles and Woolies. So that was really good for them, gave them great peace of mind.
So getting the big retailers on board's been hugely important for you guys. How did you go about that?
We put it up on Facebook. We did this little launch video on Facebook and we said to our Facebook community, these are our new products, but we need to be able to show Coles and Woolworths that you want them stocked in the stores. So we asked them whether they could jump on Facebook, create a little video just on their iPhones, just a little raw video saying, if you stock the Thankyou range, I'd buy it. And it was quite phenomenal to see that, to see how everyone jumped on board. They got behind it. They did little, there was songs, there was jingles, there were some skits, some schools got involved. We got quite a few celebrities involved as well. And they were just jumping on, lending their support as well and saying that they wanted to be behind it. I remember just after we launched the video, I heard a few screams going on down the office downstairs. I came down to see what was going on and there was just hundreds of posts going on Facebook. The office was getting so excited because they didn't expect people to jump on it so quickly and get behind it, and it just kept going for the next few weeks that we ran the campaign for. And then on top of that, we wanted to try and find a way to take it not just on social media, to take it not just online, but take it offline and find a way which we can get the whole attention of the whole organisation. And so we did this crazy little thing. We had a private donor sponsor for us a 30 metre by 30 metre sign, both in Sydney and Melbourne, that was airlifted by helicopter through the city and to the head office of both Coles and Woolworths. This sign said, like, hey Coles, thank you for changing the world with us, in brackets, if you say yes, and then from our team on there. And that circled around the head office for about half an hour. We got a little email from one of them saying, thanks for the flyby, we very much enjoyed it. All of us saw it. So it was a good way of capturing, I guess, the whole attention of the whole organisation, where it gets everybody involved to see that we have what it takes to be able to get the attention and to be able to get the products off the shelves as well.
So Justine, how long did you run the campaign for?
The campaign was run for about 2 weeks. So we launched the videos, had about 2 weeks of people putting up their petitions, and then we met with both Coles and Woolworths right after we finished up the campaign. And then the response back, so Coles was within 5 hours and Woolworths was within 3 hours after us meeting and presenting everything to them.
That's a terrific turnaround.
Yeah, amazing.
And were you able to do a lot of that in-house?
Yeah, most of it, all of it was done in-house. We had a studio help us to put together the launch video, but everything else, the creative and design, everything else was done in-house.
Okay, and outside of the social media campaign, what were the other crucial elements in winning them over?
Look, it was really crucial to make a great product. And we said this from the beginning, that number one, these products have to be as good, if not better than competitors. And then number two, by buying it, you're changing the world. Now, if we flip that and try and just sell the cause, we'll all buy it once and then we go back to what we actually enjoy. So we put on the table products that they said, this is awesome. This is really good, muesli or oats or, whatever we'd produce. So I think that was a big part of the journey.
So what are some of the things that you've taken away from this campaign that are applicable to other small businesses?
Look, I think the big thing that we've learned from the campaign and really the whole 5-year journey is that it's really important that when you sit down with a retailer, you're not just presenting an idea, because they get ideas presented, hundreds of times a week or a month. But it's about presenting an opportunity. And so this campaign was us, it was about designing and creating an opportunity where they can play a part and be part of something big. And it's something where I think they can go, we could see this working. And right back at the beginning, we just went around telling everyone about our idea, and it didn't get any traction.
Okay.
So that's a bit of a takeaway that we definitely recommend to other people to think about.
Okay, and Dan, were there any other avenues that you looked at to woo the big retailers?
Look, we did. We obviously looked at traditional avenues where you just approach normally. We'd done that in the past. It had been 5 years, and there was some history there, but essentially to keep it positive, for 5 years we couldn't get one product on the shelf. So to come along with 10, 11, 12 products and go, hey, we'd like this all on at the same time, was kind of just a pipe dream. So we knew we had to do something different. And this campaign, I think it had a reach of 15.5 million media impressions on social media and mainstream media in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So 81 media features. The video exploded. It went from, I think our goal was 10,000 views in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because our best video ever in a year had only got 10,000. So we thought that's a good goal. But we hit that in the first day, and I think it hit 75,000 in the 2 weeks. So people really got behind it, and it did like what Justine was saying. It was going, hey, you guys are big retailers, and we are a very little brand, but we're proving to you that this has the potential to sell just like any other product.
So do you think without that social media pressure, if you like, you would have won the contracts?
Look, we don't think we would have. And look, it does look like a lot of pressure and backing them into a corner. It was really to prove to them that this is a big concept and people are willing to get behind it. So, it was interesting actually. We went in for the meetings. We were real nervous, as you would be. All this, media attention and all this sort of thing. We go in and they loved the concept. They saw that we did what it would take to stand out in a crowded market.
So Jared, what were your big lessons from dealing with the big retailers?
I guess realising how big they are, and it's really big business now. So researching a lot, finding out exactly everything that we need to include, say from a pricing perspective, just so all the commercials stack up, I guess, and we're left making money for our projects.
One of the terrific things is the tracker code. You actually get a bottle of water, punch in the number, and see exactly where you're having an impact. What's the feedback been like there?
Yeah, look, really positive. People like the concept, and we've actually developed Track Your Impact 2.0, we're calling it, but essentially it's the evolution of it. So now every product across the range has a tracker. You type it into the website, and then we show you GPS coordinates of the exact project you're funding. So you can literally zoom right in. But we've gone this next step where you log in through Facebook once, and every time you track your impact, it saves. So you'll see your history all around the world, all the projects you're funding.
That's great.
Yeah, and then a year later, once a project's complete, we'll email you to say, here's a final field report and photo proof of well number 10 or whatever it is we told you you funded a year earlier.
Yeah. And is that a real competitive advantage?
We think so. It brings it back to the cause. It brings it back to, this isn't just a feel good, this is really good, and you're going to see it, and we're going to work hard to prove it back to you that you're actually making an impact with every purchase you buy.
Absolutely.
I think it also helps with the whole, when people give, their money's not just going somewhere. They can see exactly where it's going. Yeah.
So Dan, you've moved into body products, food, as well as the water now.
Yeah.
What was the motivation there?
Look, when you go overseas, and for us, we'd visited projects before, and you walk in and you see how life-changing water is, and it's remarkable. Dirty water, clean water, it's great. But as we left, we couldn't help but think there are other issues. And we'd met families who, you talk about, okay, today we're going to try and get one meal together for the family. And you're like, cool, so what's in the meal? A bit of rice and salt. And 50% of the kids in that community were malnourished. And it's a sad situation. So we're part of the water solution, but we thought, well, how incredible it would be if Australia could be part of the food solutions, and then the health and hygiene issues that kind of intertwine through it all. So the motivation came from the field, and then we thought, okay, what are the connection points here in Australia to empower people to give into that?
So Justine, you've got a really strong background in water. How did you go about developing the other product range?
So we knew going from water to food was a very big jump. Like, we're good with water, but water's water, right? But then going to food, we really wanted to make sure that we were providing a product that was good for us, not just good for the world, and also that tastes good as well. So we actually got on board the team Callum Han, who's a MasterChef All-Stars winner, and he's just fitted into the team so well, but also put together a food range that is amazing. So he knows all the ins and outs of it, and we can say that the quality alone of the product can stand on its own 2 feet without also the element of the fact that we also help people in developing countries. So having Callum as part of that was very vital.
And Jared, dealing with these big businesses, what were the big lessons you learnt?
It's an interesting question. You know, we're still learning, so we're still figuring it all out. But it is big business. You know, I think that's what we realised very early on. That, you know, in the past, we've dealt with a lot of small businesses or smaller organisations, but this is as big as it gets in Australia. So there's a lot more processes, a lot more expectations. You know, a few surprises here and there, but all in all, at the end of the day, they're real people working there. So even though they're a huge company, you still get to connect with real people and great people to work with.
And with the diversification of your product range, how has the running of the business changed?
There's definitely, we've had to employ more staff to be able to, I guess, cope with the added workload that we have coming on board. Obviously, as we're changing, it's been a big leap forward for us as an organisation, as a business. So we're needing to put in more policies and procedures and that sort of thing, get more structured and organised with a lot more things. They're probably the biggest things, I'd say.
So you've been through a fantastic period of growth, must have surpassed all your expectations. Dan, what's the outlook look like?
Look, for us, it's about really getting this brand to a point where it becomes a household name. Now, that's not just for bragging rights or someone can say, oh, look at the brand, but if it is a household name, it means that millions of Australians are behind it, which means that we'll go on to impact not just 56,000, but hopefully hundreds, and then one day millions of people. So the brand's got to grow, and we've got a lot of work to make that happen.